If you've ever held an ordinary pocket full of change, chances are you've brushed past a coin that has a story reaching far deeper than most people realize. Somewhere between the coins that rattle in vending machines and the ones forgotten at the bottom of drawers, there exists a special quarter, one that isn't just a piece of money, but a symbol of America's spirit, its struggles, its triumphs, and its 200th birthday. Today, we're diving into the remarkable world of the 1776 to 1976 United States bicentennial quarter, the coin marked with the iconic dual date, emblazoned with the words, E pluribus unum, and known among collectors as one of the most exciting pieces of modern American coinage. By the end of this video, you'll fully understand why certain rare versions of this quarter can fetch as much as $151. Yes, $151 for a quarter you might have once spent without a second thought. But before we jump ahead to that shocking value, let's take a journey back, way back, to 1976, a year filled with fireworks, flags, and a nationwide celebration of freedom. It was the United States bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and the country was overflowing with patriotic pride. When most people look at the bicentennial quarter, they immediately notice the double date, 1776 to 1976, boldly placed beneath Washington's portrait. But the real soul of this coin is on the reverse, a colonial drummer standing proudly, his drumsticks raised mid-beat, symbolizing the spirit of revolution. Beside him floats a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars, representing the original colonies. The design manages to feel both historic and hopeful, a perfect blend of America's past and future. And tucked into that design is a familiar phrase, E pluribus unum, Latin for, out of many one. It's a reminder that a nation of diverse people can come together to form something greater than the sum of its parts. Now, even though millions upon millions of these quarters were minted, not all bicentennial quarters are created equal. For most people, this coin is merely an interesting piece of pocket change worth exactly 25 cents. But for collectors, people who spend their lives scanning coin rolls, treasure hunting estate sales, and inspecting every mint mark, there are certain bicentennial quarters that are far more valuable. Some are prized because of their condition, others because of the minting process, and a small handful because of rare minting errors. And it is those rare pieces that can command prices well over $100. These silver bicentennial quarters, containing 40% silver, immediately drew attention from collectors even back in 1976. People saved them in proof sets, tucked them into drawers, and handed them down as keepsakes. Because of that, uncirculated silver bicentennial quarters are far more common than you'd expect. Most of the valuable bicentennial quarters today, therefore, aren't just the silver ones, they're the rare high-grade versions, the extremely well-preserved examples, or the ones that contain unusual minting errors. Let's take a moment to imagine the minting floor. Sheets of metal being punched with thousands of blanks. High-pressure dies slamming into each coin, stamping Washington's portrait and the patriotic drummer on opposite sides. The speed, the heat, the repetition, under these intense conditions, imperfections happen. And though the mint tries to catch errors, a few escape. And these little escapes? They become treasures. Over the decades, most bicentennial quarters have been tossed into pockets, spent in stores, dropped on sidewalks, shoved into car cup holders, or scraped across parking meters. So finding a bicentennial quarter in pristine condition today, especially one with the sharp details, bright luster, and nearly flawless surfaces of a coin that looks as if it just left the mint yesterday, is surprisingly rare. Even people who don't consider themselves coin collectors often keep one of these quarters somewhere in their home, simply for the nostalgia. But for serious numismatists, the hunt for the perfect bicentennial quarter, the rare gem among millions, is what fuels their passion. So how does a quarter worth 25 cents end up with a value of $151? It comes down to a combination of rarity, demand, and condition. A rare minting error, or a sharply struck high-grade example certified by a professional grading company, pushes its value far beyond its face value. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for the best examples they can find, because truly exceptional bicentennial quarters are surprisingly hard to come by. And now, after exploring the history, the artistry, the minting process, the collecting culture, and the passion behind this special coin, it's time for the moment you've been waiting for, the reveal. Some rare bicentennial quarters, especially those with exceptional grades or distinctive minting errors, can reach an impressive market value. Today, and the particular collectible quarter we're talking about in this story, with its remarkable condition and standout appeal, has been valued at a surprising and attention-grabbing $151. Yes, a single bicentennial quarter, once worth just 25 cents, now commands a price over $150. It's a reminder that sometimes a simple coin can turn out to be a hidden treasure, one that tells a story, celebrates a nation's heritage, and rewards the people who take the time to look a little closer. Imagine holding a simple quarter in your hand, something you've probably tossed into vending machines, slipped into parking meters, or left forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. Now imagine that the same kind of coin, struck in 1983 with a tiny letter, D, stamped under its date, could be worth far more than its face value. But what if I told you that the story behind this coin isn't just about money? It's a story woven into the culture, economics, and unexpected circumstances of early 1980s America. This little coin is more than metal, it's a survivor of a turbulent year, a relic of scarcity, and today, a prized treasure for collectors. So let me take you back to the beginning, before the value, before the fame, before anyone even realized this coin would become something special. The year is 1983. The United States is just beginning to recover from a tough recession. Inflation has chilled a bit, and the economy is waking up again, but people are still cautious with their money. The U.S. Mint is producing billions of coins each year, including quarters depicting the familiar profile of George Washington. This design had been around since 1932, originally created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Over time, it matured into a symbol so familiar that Americans barely notice it anymore. But in 1983, something subtle happened behind the scenes, something that would eventually give the quarter minted in Denver that year a special place in the world of numismatics. Because of the economic conditions and the mint schedule, no uncirculated mint sets were produced in 1982 or 1983. Collectors didn't realize how important this would become. Typically, mint sets ensure a supply of fresh, high-quality coins, preserved in pristine condition straight from production. But for those 2 years, the mint didn't release them. To understand why this matters, you need to appreciate how collectors evaluate coins. They look at the details, the sharpness of Washington's hair, the crispness of the eagle's wings on the reverse, the brightness of the metal, the absence of scratches. A coin minted in Denver in 1983 might have been produced in the tens of millions, but once mint sets were removed from the picture, the supply of untouched, well-preserved 1983 D quarters instantly shrank. This puts it in a special category, not exactly rare in terms of existence, but rare in terms of condition. And in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Collectors also love a good story, and the story of the 1983 D quarter has all the ingredients: scarcity, a surprising oversight by the mint, a lack of mint sets, and a slow but steady rise in value as collectors realized how tough the coin was to find in top grade. Many collectors who lived through the era didn't save coins from their pocket change because they had no idea these particular quarters would someday be desirable. After all, the mint had been producing Washington quarters for 50 years already. Why would 1983 be any different? But sometimes history is shaped by decisions no one expects to matter at the time. As more people enter the world of coin collecting, the appeal of this quarter continues to grow. New collectors learn about it early on because it's one of the first coins that teaches a valuable lesson. Scarcity isn't always about how many coins were made, but how many high-quality coins survived. The 1983 D quarter scarcity in good condition makes it a perfect example of this principle. It has become an educational piece as much as a collectible one. As the years pass, fewer high-quality examples remain in existence. Some have been lost, others damaged, and many more circulated until their details softened. If you can find one in excellent condition, sharp, clean, almost untouched, you're looking at something increasingly special. There's a thrill in that discovery, a sense of connection to history, and a realization that small things can carry big stories. And that brings us to the part you've been waiting for, the value. After all the history, all the scarcity, all the collector demand, how much is a 1983 D-quarter actually worth today if it's in the kind of condition collectors dream about? You may be surprised, because for a coin that is still relatively young in the world of numismatics, its value has grown steadily over the years. Collectors who understand the story behind it are willing to pay for quality. And if you happen to have one of these coins preserved in a sharp, detailed, and lustrous condition, the kind of example that stands out from the crowd, its market price today can reach an impressive amount. The big reveal is this: in excellent collectible condition, this otherwise ordinary-looking 1983 D-quarter dollar can be valued at around $120. That's right. $1.25 originally in your pocket could transform into $120 in value today. All because of a little twist of history, an unusual decision by the mint, and the passage of time that turned a common coin into an uncommon prize. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest objects tell the biggest stories, and every coin in your pocket might hold a piece of history waiting to be discovered. So the next time you go through your change, look closely. Your very own 1983 D treasure might be waiting right there, unnoticed yet full of potential, ready to surprise you with its hidden value of $120.